welcome to this video about applying gel polish. Gel polish is a UV cured nail polish that stays on the nail and maintains its color and shine for up to 3 weeks, and for some even longer. Before applying gel polish, keep in mind a few things that are good to have fresh in your mind. First, ensure a really efficient prep, like a nature camp preparation. It's crucial that your product lasts a long time without falling apart. So before you watch this video guide, just check out our video guide on prep as well. Secondly, when you buff gel polish, it's important that you remember to seal the free edge for each layer. To seal the free edge means that you apply product all the way out to the tip of the nail, so that dirt and bacteria can't slide in between the natural nail and the product. It can give a lift. Thirdly, remember that gel polish should be applied in thin layers. Thick layers can actually cause wrinkles on the surface, it can result in uneven color, or it may have trouble fully curing. If gel polish can flow away from where you've placed it, for example, if it flows into the cuticle while you continue working on the remaining nails, then you've applied a layer that's too thick. And lastly, it's also important that you remember never to hit the skin with the product. There are 2 reasons for that. First, the skin is constantly secreting fluids and oils. So if a product hits the skin, there's an ongoing risk that these fluids and fats can penetrate beneath the product, and that means a lift within a pretty short time. Secondly, the product can increase the risk of contact allergy. If you get product on your skin, it's important to remove it as soon as possible and before it hardens. In general, it's crucial for a good and lasting outcome that you're cautious to follow our instructions and you strive to execute all steps accurately. If unsure or need guidance, reach out to us for sure. We're here to help you along the way. Have a blast. When you commence utilizing your gel polish, it is of utmost importance to thoroughly shake or mix the color pigments inside the bottle before you start applying it to your nails. Because when gel polish is placed on the shelf or stored in a drawer for a while, the color pigments can settle at the bottom. So instead of shaking the bottle like many might think, we do it like this, where we place the bottle between 2 hands. And then it rolls. We roll instead of shake to prevent excessive air bubbles in the paint, which can negatively impact the final result and compromise its quality. And depending on how long it's been standing, you can just keep this roll going for 30, 60 seconds. Once you have rolled your gel polish bottle, you can simply check it out. You just pick it up and observe that there is no kind of marble effect inside. If you open a gel polish and it looks like there's something that's colored and something that's less colored, then that's a sign that you just need to shake it a bit more thoroughly, or just shake it in general if you haven't done it yet. So now this gel polish is ready to use. Compilation of text written by Nikolai. Once we have prepared our gel polish color, we need to perform an efficient preparation. To make the perfect prep, check out our video guide on prep, or take a look at our step-by-step guide in our theory book on how to perform a prep step by step. This is the way to ensure your prep is done perfectly. So go to the video or flip to the right page in the theory book to see how you do it. After you've done an efficient prep, as you can see I've done here, it's time to apply base coat. The base coat should ideally be applied in extremely thin layers. It is not intended for the base coat to be applied thickly, resembling a glop on the nail. It should actually just be utilized as a very thin layer of adhesive, applied in a sticky manner. And then it's crucial that you thoroughly rub it into the nail layers as well. The base coat is intended to ensure that the subsequent layer of gel adheres really well to your nail towers. And in order for it to perform optimally, you gotta really work it into this rough surface that you just created on the nail during the prep phase. So you merely take an extremely thin layer of base coat and vigorously rub it in very well and thoroughly until it is completely absorbed into the surface. It's also very important that you seal the free edge. And you actually do that by simply gliding your brush back and forth over the tip of your nail. I do the same on the rest of the fingers. Pretty easy base coat and knob it really well in. After applying base coat to all 5 nails, they must cure in a UV lamp for 1 minute. Now this base coat has had a minute under the lamp, and after the curing process, there will be what is called a sticky layer, similar to a tiny sticky layer or a small sticky film on top of this base coat. Do not remove the sticky layer, it is completely normal. The reason we have this sticky layer is to ensure that the next layer of gel polish can adhere even more effectively to the base coat. So it must not be removed, and it's normal for it to be a bit sticky. Now it is the moment to apply the first coat of gel polish color. When applying this gel polish color, it is incredibly important to apply very thin layers of the gel polish color. So you don't need to load the nail with a thick layer, because you want the color to be completely opaque from the first coat. Patience is crucial. Apply thin layers. Layer 2 will cover it, no worries. Trust the process, it works. So what you do when you apply the initial layer of gel polish is that you dip your gel polish into the bottle and scrape off the majority of the product from the brush itself. So you take a small droplet of color and apply it carefully onto your brush, ensuring precision and control. And then you position this jewel of gel polish color right here in proximity to the cuticle. Simply press down slightly, allowing the bristles within the brush to disperse or spread apart. And then you bring the color up towards the cuticle, and you do it out on this one side here, and out to the other side, while still keeping a bit of a good safety distance to the cuticle, because your gel polish, or all gel products in general, shouldn't touch the skin or cuticle, so you just need to maintain a good safety distance. When you feel like you've safely gotten as close to the cuticle as you can, you take the brush and swipe it to one side, and drives out to the other side. So you can just drive over the complete portion of the nail once more. And then you seal the free edge. It is extremely important, just like we did with the base coat, to make sure we seal the free edge properly and completely. Because when you apply a product on top of the nail, our objective is to prevent any dirt or debris from getting trapped between the product and the surface of the natural nail. And if we just close off at the front, we'll actually create a seal that prevents anything from getting in between. And the one with sharp eyes can see that there are some unevenness in the color itself, and that's totally fine. You should not apply layers that are too thick, because thick layers will cause the gel polish to wrinkle when it goes into the lamp, or simply not cure properly. A good rule of thumb is that when you've applied your first coat of gel polish, if it's flowing out and running away from you, hitting the cuticles by sliding down the sides, then you've simply applied a layer that's too thick. The icing should be so thin that it doesn't move once you've laid it down. So I'm just going to continue coloring the rest of my 4 fingers before I move on to the thumbs. Now I've applied my gel polish color to all 5 fingers. It's important to say that if any color gets on the skin, it's important to remove it as soon as possible. It's really easy to remove excess paint or paint that gets on the sides, for example. I merely dampened the micro wipe stick with cleaner. If you do not possess these, you can effortlessly utilize our rose sticks as an alternative. This wood material makes it very easy to absorb this excess gel that may have come next to it. It's just important to get it removed as soon as possible and before it hardens. It's also a really good tip. If you're sitting here looking at your nails and thinking, I would have liked to have this color a little closer to my cuticles, you have the option to easily grab one of our small art brushes. Here is an example of our art brush in a smaller size. You have the option to take it and delicately bring the color slightly closer to the cuticle, gradually enhancing the overall appearance of the nail. It is not necessarily something you think you need, but if you want it a little closer, it is a good and easy way to get it moved. If you're happy with the color, it just needs a minute under the lamp. Has now had 60 seconds in the tanning bed. And again, just like with the base coat, all color layers will have this sticky layer, which again is completely normal and it must not be removed. Now we're going to apply a second coat of gel polish color in exactly the same way or using the same method as the first coat. And once again, we're doing it the same way. We scrape our brushes on both sides of the bottleneck, and then we pick up a little bead of product, which we place close to the cuticle in the middle of the nail. So we press down a little so the brush bristles spread, and then you can gently bring the color up as close to the cuticle as possible without hitting either the skin or the cuticle. Once you have gotten as close as you feel you can, you are able to slide the brush down towards one side, then towards the other side, right in the middle so you do not miss anything there, and then once more ensure to seal the free edge, which is incredibly vital for achieving the best results, to prevent any dirt from getting in between the product and the gasket. And I do the same on the remaining 4 fingers, you know. I have now applied color to all 5 nails, and a good tip for achieving a nice and even color surface is the manner in which you hold your brush in relation to the nail. Now I've just applied wet polish, so I prefer not to expose it to much wind, but instead of holding your brush vertically on top of your nail, try to hold it horizontally for better control, because it will cause the color to flow on, instead of you scraping the color across the nail by using this angle of application. Hence, instead of scraping it, I am endeavoring to go along with the natural progression of the product. But when I'm happy with my second coat of color, I just pop it into the lamp for 60 seconds. The color has now been given 60 seconds, and once again, it's important not to remove this sticky layer, just let it stay on. Now we must seal our new beautiful paint job, and we accomplish that by using a top coat. Our top coat is a no wipe, which means that it doesn't leave that sticky layer, you know, that annoying feeling on your nails. So when you've applied the top coat and it has cured, then it's ready and finished, without the necessity of removing any sticky layer from the surface of the material. But you apply the top coat in exactly the same way as we applied the color. You take a little pearl of top coat from the neck of the bottle, place it close to the cuticle in the middle of the nail, and bring it up towards the cuticle, as close as you can. And you should make sure to cover all the color. There ain't no color that's allowed to be without a top coat. So you drive along one side of the road and then drive down the other side of the road, covering both directions. The center. After that, you seal the part that is not attached by using a closing motion. Once again, it is extremely important that you make sure to seal the free edge properly. And I do the same thing on the remaining 4 nails, you know. I have now applied top coat to all of my 5 nails, and I am giving the top coat a minute to dry in the lamp. Nails are currently undergoing a 1-minute curing process in the lamp, and as previously stated, our top coat is a no-wipe formula, resulting in the absence of a sticky layer at the end. The top coat is actually the only thing that is completely finished after it is cured. The final thing we need to remember in our gel polish location is to apply a few drops of nail oil. And the main purpose is simply to add moisture and fat, which help to hydrate and nourish both the cuticle and the nail, thereby improving their overall health and appearance. And it is important that you apply the oil all the way around the cuticle and also underneath the nail. You can picture that the nail is somewhat like a branch. If a branch is completely dry and has no liquid in it at all, it will easily snap when you try to bend it. The lack of moisture makes it fragile and prone to breaking under pressure. If, on the other hand, you have a branch that is fresh and juicy and you try to bend it, so it will basically just bend with the movement you make. And the same actually applies to the nail. So if you want to have a nail that can handle anything in everyday life without breaking or cracking, especially in the winter months or in cold places, make sure to use plenty of nail oil, preferably multiple times a day. When we've done that, you'll see that we just let the oil in, and then we have the most gorgeous gel polish manicure.